Well, it wasn't the funnest game to watch on a Sunday afternoon. Phoenix Suns up through three quarters, pretty much handling themselves, handling the Oklahoma City Thunder, doing what you're supposed to do against a sub 500 team. Fourth quarter begins. Phoenix Suns allow an 18-2 run. Started with a 6-0 run in which Monty Williams calls timeout like he should. And he runs the same lineup back out there, Matthew, and they continue to just get decimated without the services of Kevin Durant, without the services of one DeAndre Ayton. The Phoenix Suns lose and are now 37-33 on the season. Welcome to the Suns Jam Session podcast.
Yeah. So without DeAndre Ayton, it actually looked okay at first, but then it's like, oh, now I miss him, right? I mean, this whole game, you're kind of like, this is a game we can maybe win with that DeAndre Ayton. I kind of forgot he was on the team sometimes because they were playing so well. And then all of a sudden you're like, dude, we need that extra guy. But you had Booker. Just couldn't do enough. Couldn't score 50. Couldn't give us enough tonight, right?
Yeah, it's like only if he had a guy who could score 18 points and get him 10 rebounds in the middle to help out, maybe they could have pulled this one out. So
yeah,
for all of the anti-DA people, I hope that this is a reminder that Darius Bazley ain't it. Okay, the fact that Monty Williams had to play Darius Bazley as much as he did tonight should remind you of the effectiveness of DA. Is it an effectiveness relative to his price for value paid? That's a different conversation. The sheer fact that he's out there definitely allows the Phoenix Suns an opportunity to win a game like they did, or they played against the Oklahoma City Thunder. But ultimately, the Suns lose 34 points for the Oklahoma City Thunder in the fourth quarter, 24 for the Phoenix Suns. A game that it makes me mad. Like, I am pissed, but I'm also just like trying to take in the big picture of things. And that's something that we'll talk about on this edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. So for those of you who joined us along live in the chat, truly appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button while you're kicking it here. If you're listening to this tomorrow morning, happy Monday. Hope your workday is going better than the Suns basketball game was. And again, thanks for listening to the podcast. We truly appreciate all the support we get. Just a couple of dingbats like ourselves who like to talk about the Phoenix Suns, and God bless you for tuning in and listening. So it's midday afternoon. I'm going to pop open an ice cold Coors Light here, as you can all see right here on the screen. The Rockies are blue. And let's talk about this game. What the fuck? Suns lose at the hand of the Oklahoma City Thunder. It is the first game of a 3-game road trip for the Phoenix Suns, losing this one 124-120, which, as always, brings me to my first question.
Matthew, I got to ask.
Matthew, I got to ask. The first two times that we played the Oklahoma City Thunder, you're a little grumpy afterwards because you didn't get to see SGA. Well, you got to see SGA today. 40 points for him, 12 of 24 from the field, 16 of 19 from the free throw line. Are you happy you got to see SGA, Matthew? You feel better about that?
No. I mean, towards the end of the game, I'm like, don't let him shoot. I know he missed like one, but he was automatic. He was closing the game out for them. Like, can he just not play today? I mean, we're missing Ayton. We don't have freaking KD in there. So just don't have him play today. But I was excited to see him play up to the point where it was 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, where I'm like, this guy's going to probably close it out for them. So then I was like, this is kind of disappointing, man. I forget how good he is, right? I mean, we have Booker on the other side who's not getting calls, but then SGA is just getting the calls. So I'm like, man, this is a rough one to watch just because he is getting the calls. And he seems like a more, I guess, more of a superstar than Devin Booker out there, even though Booker still scored 46 points with only 8 free throw attempts by him. And I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I love SGA, but not tonight, not today, not on a Sunday.
Well, and 0 3-point attempts by SGA as well. I mean, he did all of his damage inside the paint at the free throw line. Again, of his 40 points, 16 came at the free throw line. 36 total free throws for the Oklahoma City Thunder, which was 12 more than the Phoenix Suns. And it's a broken record at this point. But the level of frustration that we as Phoenix Suns fans have when it comes to officiating just continues to compound. And I think that Week 22, which we just completed, this is the 22nd week of the regular season for the Phoenix Suns. Week 22 is one that really sparked the bomb, if you will, of my imagination and my frustration, because I spent about an hour yesterday on basketballreference.com and downloading the game logs from every single team in the NBA and seeing how many times they shot more free throws than their opponents, they being whatever team I chose. And when everything was said and done, the Phoenix Suns, now in 71 games played, have shot more free throws than their opponents only 23 times in the season, which is pretty impressive. That's the fourth lowest in the entire NBA. And it correlates with, it's not a holistic statistic, right? But it correlates with how many shots you take inside of 10 feet. And the Phoenix Suns are also fourth lowest in the NBA in taking shots inside of 10 feet. So it makes sense. You create pressure, you attack the cylinder, you generally get to the free throw line. The Phoenix Suns, you don't get the moniker, the mid-range mafia, or the mid-range assassins, or the monsters of the mid-range, whatever multiple M phrase you have. You don't get that by attacking the rim. You get it from shooting from the mid-range. But that being said, it feels like the eye test, at least, tells you that when the Suns do attack the basket, they still don't get the calls. And you're seeing that again tonight. Devin Booker was getting hounded as he attacked the rim, wasn't getting to the line. SGA I got to say, Matthew, SGA was a part of that Paul George trade. I think it's a perfect trade because they're both push-off masters. SGA throws that shiver all the time, man.
Yeah, he was throwing it a lot. And he was kind of upset sometimes. Like, he would push Booker off and then he would get to the rim and he would say, like, hey, I got fouled. But then it's like, so you're fouling our guy, but then you want a foul call, and when you actually finish the play and you get to the rim and you miss the layup. Like, I don't think it works that way. But the push-off was definitely still there. That's one thing he gets away with. The whole free throw disparity today, it does suck a lot. But again, I mean, we're talking about a Suns team that doesn't get to the free throw line, but SGA does average like 10 per game, 11 per game. So he knows that that's all he does, right? I mean, every time he goes to the rim, he's looking for contact. He falls to the floor. Hopefully he's not hurt if you're an OKC fan. And he just looks like he's going to get hurt all the time because he just throws his body out there. The way that Book was kind of drawing the fouls and stuff late in the game, I know he doesn't get the calls, but I'm going to be honest, dude. Like, a lot of the times I don't see the contact either. It just, like, the one where he had the little mid-range, it was like maybe his last shot of the game, second to last shot.
Where he went down.
He falls face first on the ground. But it's like, I don't know if there's really any contact there. They showed the replay. I didn't see any body contact or anything. So he's trying to draw it. It's not there. So I don't know if this is more of a thing where the Suns just don't know how to get to the free throw line. They're just expecting it because it is Devin Booker. Or else it's just like they're actually working on it, working at being more physical, getting to the rim. The disparities are going to be there because I just don't think this team knows how to do it still. I know Booker needs the calls because he's a superstar in this league. But, I mean, he's a top 10 player, obviously, when he's healthy. But I just don't think it's going to happen in a lot of these games. It's going to make us frustrated because we can't match these other teams that know how to do it.
And the frustrating thing is, come playoff time, this is what's going to sway a game or a series. Watching this game, watching the game against the Bucks earlier last week, I get like PTSD from the finals, in which that was our Achilles heel. We couldn't get to the line. They outshot us like 148 to 105 or something in the NBA finals from the free throw line, maybe more than that. And it's the same thing when you watch these games. If you have a team that doesn't know how to instinctually get to the line with consistency, it's going to hurt you in the postseason for a couple different reasons. One, it's free points. It slows the game down. It utilizes your momentum. And two, from a mental standpoint, if you're going down there and you are getting the calls, you're not taking yourself out of the game. Well, that's what the Suns can do at times. It didn't really happen tonight, but it did happen in the Bucks game, where they find themselves complaining all the time that they become unfocused. And when you get unfocused, you turn the ball over. And we did see the Phoenix Suns turn the ball over aplenty in the fourth quarter. And you're right on some instances. Devin Booker definitely fishes for fouls, much akin to SGA and Giannis and Jokic and Luka and everybody. The difference is they get the calls. Consistently, they get the calls, and there's no arguing that. Just to go and simply look at the free throw attempts per game metric, and you'll see that all the guys that I just mentioned are easily above Devin Booker's. I think he has 6 free throw attempts a game. And On the mid-range shot, I didn't see a lot of contact, but I did see a lot of contact when he went right down the middle and laid the ball in and got pushed off to the side again. He gets allowed. The officials allow body contact to Devin Booker, but not against. It's one of the strangest things I consistently see. And there's nothing we can do about it. We can sit and we can gripe. At the end of the day, it's a 124-120 loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Do the officials have a part in it? Of course. When you give up that many, or when the whistle is blowing that easily on one side of the court and isn't blowing easily on the other side of the court, it affects the game. But it also is some bad, just fourth quarter play by the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
You know, they entered the fourth quarter, up 10? And
it was a
blew
dominant game. Anytime the Thunder got back into the game, it was, the Suns just kind of pulled away again. But Johnny Sierra, I think that's how you say it, Sierra. There's no contact on the other side, Matthew. And the thing is, like, the contact, it's not always there, right? It's like an art form. Getting to the line is just a total art form. It's a lot of complaining, a lot of just throwing your body in a certain way, using your left, right hand in certain situations. Like, if you don't work on it, you don't just have these refs, like the refs know, like, hey, this guy gets the line, right? Look out for that. Maybe that's what they do. Maybe the refs just hate Booker. Who knows? But they might just hate him because he does. If you ask any player who talks a lot of shit, it's always Booker. Maybe the refs get sick of it, right? They sick of hearing him, jibber jabbing. Because every time we see a technical, we're always like, what did he say? He must be saying some nasty stuff to get a technical. Who knows? Maybe they just hate him for that reason. But it is an art form. But yeah, man, like today's game, it was like, I seriously, going into it, I thought the Suns were going to lose. I thought it was like, this is probably when you lost. Thunder play hard. Last time we played against a couple of teams that play hard, we couldn't put up with them. And then I was like, oh, we actually got this game. The Thunder are making a lot of mistakes, but it was still kind of a closer game. I know 10 points, 11 points. It's not super close. But the way the Suns were shooting from three, the way that the Thunder were actually like making a lot of mistakes today, I was like, how are we not up by like 20 or 30 in this game? And then it came back.
So many missed layups.
Yeah, a lot of missed layups. A lot of missed
layups. Missed dunks, missed layups.
Yeah.
And again, to your point, when it comes to the officiating and it's an art form, yes. And it's one that Devin Booker, he pulls all of the same tricks. He does. You look at what SGA does. He does the head bob thing, whereas you're driving down into the paint and any member of the opposition mildly touches you, you whip your head back like you just got in a car accident, and you use your body against their body in an effort to create contact. You jump into players, and we've seen it. Devin Booker has done those kind of things, and he does get some calls. But when you go against other players and you see the frequency at which they get their calls, that's when it really starts to shock you. That's when you really take a look and you go, oh, damn. Like, Devin Booker, does he get calls? Yeah, but he doesn't get calls with the same frequency that other people have. This season so far, his highest free throw attempts, he had 15 in a game against the Utah Jazz, which was a loss for the Phoenix Suns early in the game. But he had 15, and it's like every night we're playing against some player who is getting to the line with the frequency that SGA did 19 times, 24 times for Giannis. It seems that way. And again, that's where the one-sidedness starts to come in. If you're a Suns fan, if you're seeing how much one player from the opposition is getting to the line and how little your star is, let alone your entire team is, you start to go, okay, like, what kind of bullshit is this? And we've been through this before, and we'll go through it again. It really questions your faith in the league, the integrity of the league, and how viewable it is, because if it's ultimately going to be decided by human error, it will always be imperfect. That's why baseball is starting to get better and better, because they're taking a lot of the human error out of it. Football is always going to have human error, but they've done a really good job of taking it out of it. But basketball, due to its high-paced nature, it's going to always have that human error. You're going to have the egos involved of the different officials who can't take being called a bitch-ass pussy by Devin Booker, and they just, they start to throw those technicals around.
They do, and it's something where it's going to control the playoffs, but these players, they know, like, it does control the whole game, right? So that's why they're so focused on getting the refs' attention the whole game. Like, they're the ones that are going to sway the game for you at the end. Those technical fouls are huge, that can sway the momentum. Anytime, if the game slows down, it's because of free throws. It's a way to get back into a game like OKC did. It's just, it's the smartest way to go about, like, improving your game. It's just getting to the line, working on the refs. If you don't have that, you're going to lose in the playoffs. You just are, because
100%.
it's a nasty way to watch the game, but it's just the truth. If you just can't get to the line, even KD, he can, but do you want KD to try to get to the line to get hurt? Do you think you want Booker to try because he might get hurt?
Do you
with
want
his
Paul?
hamstring? Paul can't do it.
He can't do it anymore.
He's a little fat pug out there, dude. He can't do it.
He can't do it.
He's not fat, but he's thick,
chunky.
man.
He's chunky.
He's
and
man.
again, that's the challenge that I see with this Phoenix Suns team as we look at a playoff run. Is we're going to run into situations kind of like we did last year against the Dallas Mavericks, like we definitely did against the New Orleans Pelicans, where they just killed us at the line. And it's just another obstacle you have to overcome. You already have to overcome the physicality of the game and the talent of the opposition, but you also have to overcome your inability to get to the line and your inability to slow the game down and get those points that could also sway a game, because if you have the opposition in foul trouble, they have to pull people out. And those are things that this Phoenix Suns team, and it's a product of Monty's system is what it is. When you have Devin Booker and you have Chris Paul, you're going to build a system around those guys. Well, those guys aren't SGAs. Those guys aren't Giannis's or Lukas, or guys who can get it to those certain spots and draw those fouls. So you're just a product of your own environment at this point. So I think we've spent enough time kind of talking about the officiating. I think it was a conversation that we've probably needed to have over the past week, just given the fact that the Suns once again are cornholed when it comes to getting to the line. I put a lot of research into that measly little statistic yesterday to find out that we were fourth worst in the team in the league. Worst team getting to the line is the Nets. They've had like 15 games in which they've shot more free throws than the opposition. Again, the Suns have shot more free throws than the opposition in 23 of their 71 games. That means every other game, it was either a tie or the opposition shot more free throws. And that's just who the Phoenix Suns are. That means
we've been that way for the last 3 years.
Yeah,
right?
It's a product of this system. So let's talk a little bit about this game. We did get the return of Landry Shamet in this one.
Oh, yeah! Shabba-labba ding-dong!
Sneaky.
Landry Shamet returned. He got a new drop just for his return. We've missed him for
Yeah,
that
looks good.
long.
Did you just make that today?
I did. I had a little extra time, seeing as
Nice.
we had to wait for Matthew to join the podcast a little late. So Landry did return in this game. He played a total of 20 minutes. He was 3 of 4 from downtown, had 10 points, had 2 assists, had 1 steal as well. Could Landry Shamet be our savior, Matthew?
You know, it's nice that he's back and he was huge tonight or today. But it's just like he steps up, but then like other guys kind of just are missing, right? You have him come in, just hit big threes. Good to have him back. The defense is there. You forget about the defense, but he comes back, plays great defense, I feel like, today. And then you just have guys that kind of drop off like Ish, like he misses threes. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, so then one guy's back, but then someone else just can't continue to play they were playing before. But that's just the way the bench is.
Yep.
It's nice to have him. I think that he's going to fill in those holes when guys have an off night. But I think just hitting those threes is huge. But, dude, if he can come in and have games like today, like every other game, it's great. But I feel like his defense was just totally missed with that second unit, man. I'm not going to say he's a leader or anything. He didn't really handle the ball like he was before. But his defense is going to be a big upside coming in off the bench. That was something we totally missed. Like going into a game today, we just definitely had to play some stiff defense against this OKC team. Just kind of make a statement, right? I mean, they're young. They want to get going. They want to just like push the pace. They want to, well, actually pace is probably not really their thing, but they just want to get up on you. They want to make sure that they can show that they have more energy than a Suns team that looks kind of old at times. But it was kind of different because you just had a lot of good defense played by a lot of different players tonight. But when you have that coming off the bench, and especially coming off an injury in his first game, very solid first game back. So welcome back, Shamet.
Yeah, it's good to have him back just for some consistency purposes. Obviously, a lot of people are frustrated with who he was prior to the break, prior to his time off, just because of his inconsistency. And the one thing that hasn't been inconsistent about Landry Shamet this entire year was his defense, his hustle. And we saw him start to gain some momentum and was looking confident in his jump shooting ability. And then the injury happened. But I look at it this way. You have to have the guys who you're paying the most out there. That's why they're getting paid, right? Unless you're the Sacramento Kings with Rashawn Holmes and you're like, we paid him, we don't need him.
I didn't even know he was on the team till the Ben Simmons report or Bill Simmons podcast. I had no idea he was still on that team.
Yeah, still on the team. We'll see him in a couple of weeks or in a couple games, but we won't see him. He'll be on the sideline. But I look at Landry Shamet. There's a reason he gets paid what he is and does, and that's due to his experience, his shooting ability, and the fact that he can play make a little bit and he can play some defense. And I just think that having that extra body for the rotations and with the second team unit is going to do nothing but help that second team unit. Now, that being said, the second team unit over the past couple of games, especially in that Orlando game, has really been playing a little bit better. And like you said, it's just frustrating to have that inconsistency where it's like, oh, okay, Landry's back, but now somebody else is going to suffer like Ish, because Ish looked like dog shit today.
Yeah,
on both sides. A lot
of big threes missed.
A lot of big threes missed, including one at the very end of the game.
Yeah.
So having Landry back is absolutely paramount to the fundamental success of the second team. Now, will it translate over time? I don't know. We'll have to sit back and see and watch and see him get his legs underneath him once again and all that jazz. But I enjoyed seeing him back out there. I have more confidence in his shot than I do in like an Ish Wainwright, right? I have more confidence in his shot than I do a Jock Landale from three. Like, stop, Jock, even though he hit one today. You know, Torrey Craig. Landry, I have just a little bit more confidence.
Yeah.
So we'll see if moving forward if that actually equates to success. But it's good to have him back, obviously.
Yeah, the more the better. And it's a guy that they still like. So, I mean, he's going to get a lot of minutes. I know you said he's getting paid a lot to put him in there, but Shamet's just always going to get minutes. I think probably for just that reason, you got a Jerry Jonesy, you got to throw him out there because you're paying him a lot of money. Whether you're going to lose or not, just keep shooting threes. But he was so valuable before, right?
Yes.
This season, he's actually played pretty good. So that was why we suffered so long without him. We really did. Now we'll see if he can continue.
Never thought that we'd be like,
I know, it's weird to say.
We need Landry. We need Landry.
Big Dick Booker.
I just feel kind of bad for Booker in a game like tonight, man. 46 points for Devin Booker. 18 of 28 from the field, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, 3 of 7 from beyond the arc. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. I just feel bad for him, man. Like, he's carrying this team, and it always scares me when he has to carry the team this much, that no one else of the 120 points, he had to put in 46 tonight. And I know that there's no KD, and I know there's no DeAndre Ayton. So those are your other 2 top scorers on this team. So obviously Devin Booker's got to step up. But man, he has to carry this team so far. And there's so much. It's like this guy can never just have a good, nice, easy night. And the team just, oh, hey, look at Landry just dropped 20 and Terrence Ross just dropped 20 and, Devin Booker, he just needs 15. It's just, geez, man.
Yeah, times tonight it was kind of like MJ out there a little bit. Just his shot making was insane.
Mm-hmm.
The waste of a game, it can be a waste for sure. And I think the 40 points kind of snuck up on me. It kind of did. It was kind of a quiet one.
It's like a gummy.
Yeah, it just sneaks up on you. But yeah, and it was a bad trip for sure towards the end. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to the day KD's back next to him because it's very hard for him to do anything, especially you have another guy you're trying to rely on and Chris Paul really that just has an off night. Then if that's happening, then you have zero chance really to pull a win together, even against an OKC team that you can maybe beat, even though I thought it was going to be a loss. It's a team that you can maybe squeeze one out at the end, but when you have no one really stepping up offensively and hitting wide open threes, then it's just going to be crucial towards the end for him to hit every shot. And that's what I wanted to happen. I wanted him to have the ball. Like, why are you not shooting? I know Ish had that 3, but he was kind of covered. But why are you spreading the ball around? Why are you trying to hit a wide open Ish in the corner when he's 0 for 3? Like, that's not a shot I want. I want Book to shoot it. Just like SGA at the end of the game, he should have been shooting every shot. Like, they kept passing the ball around. Giddy turned the ball over, and I forget who was shooting those guys' names. I cannot remember. My apologies. But if SGA is not shooting the ball, what are you guys doing? Like, he's the one that's going to close out the game for you. Booker should have had every shot. He should have had 15 tonight. And he should have closed the game out and tried to win the game for us and maybe even tied it up with a 3. But because even that corner 3 he had, dude, it was like nothing but net. I'm like, dude, this guy's on fire tonight. Why is he just not shooting? And he got double teamed a little bit towards the end. But he kind of got into his spot. Just raise up and shoot it. I would rather take a hard Devin Booker shot than passing the ball around to anybody else to shoot the ball from 3.
Yeah, the challenge is he's being triple teamed out of the perimeter. And for some reason, the Suns don't have the ability to do that to SGA, right? Like, they don't go and front him and try to triple and just simply take the ball out of their head. Yeah, they put Ish on him in an ISO. It drives me nuts, and I completely agree. if the Phoenix Suns would double team, like, why can't our team pick up anybody full court? Like, why do we never do that? We've talked about it before, but it drives me fucking nuts, man. Like,
I don't know.
Like, make SGA burn him out. And I know that I think K-Ray said it on the broadcast with like 5 minutes left. He's like, and that is the first foul for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I repeat, that is the first foul. But it's like, that's a product of shitty coaching. That's a product of the Suns not trying to get SGA into switches and making him defend and trying to wear him out a little bit physically, right? From a defensive standpoint, they don't pick him up ever full court. They don't try to body him up. They let him get all the way down within 10 feet, and then they put a body on him, and he gets the foul every time. They don't meet him at the perimeter. They allow him to do. They allow him to do whatever they want. They sit back on their heels and are like, "Come at me, bro." It's the same thing with like Giannis, right? Like Giannis, if you confront him out at the 3-point line, throw a double team at him, he's going to dish it around. He's going to hit one of his quality teammates, and they might make the shot, sure. But you're not in foul trouble now, and Torrey Craig will still have all of his teeth. It's the same thing with SGA. I don't know why. You see what one team does to you. Devin Booker gets the ball. He's 30 feet from the basket, and they're throwing doubles at him. When he navigates through that, they've got a triple team waiting for him. So he has to pass out of it. And Ish, of course, is wide open. And once he lets it go, you're like, that's not even close. So that's the most important shot of the game, and they took it out of Devin Booker's hand. And kudos to Devin Booker. 46 points. He still navigated all the bullshit they were throwing at him. But I just don't understand why the Suns can't do it on the other side. It's two things that will drive me nuts. That they don't double team, and they don't pick up anybody full court ever. Like, you have guys who can do both of those things, and like, you just don't. And what they do is, if they do a double team, it's a late coming double team that's unbelievably choreographed. It's like the guy from 14 feet away who's guarding the guy in the corner. He's like, he comes running over with his hands up. He's like, I'm going to be the double team guy. You can see it's going to be me. And then they pass right out of it. It just drives me nuts, man.
Well, what we do is, I feel like a lot of times we let these offenses just kind of dictate the end. They're just like, all right, well, I'm going to be in this spot. I'm going to take my time. Like,
do
I have
we
the
think
space.
We're that good?
Huh?
Do the Suns think they're that good that they can do that?
I don't. They feel like they can escape it. It's just like, okay, so we're going to give up the shot to the best player like 3 or 4 times in a row. And SGA should have taken more shots towards the end. He had the option, I felt like. And we're just going to see if we can live through to the next day. You know what I mean? We can just live through this game and see if we can squeak out a win with him maybe missing. He did miss one, like I said, but those are just nice looking shots by him. It was easy money. Can you imagine Booker getting those shots? The game would have been over. And like you said, he does get triple team, double team, but he's done such a good job too, trying to maneuver and get out of those, where I'm like, oh, take that shot. Oh, take it. Like, he's kind of maneuvering. It's like, oh, he's raising up, but he passes out. Like, no, like, you should have just took that, because I would have lived with that. But SGA just wide open, man. It was kind of like De'Aaron Fox, who hit that game winner 3 the other night, where it was just, he stepped right into a 3, like kind of when Kevin Durant did it to ice the Cavs at one finals, get his first finals with the Warriors.
Yeah.
Like, it was like a wide open, just step right into it. Like, that's what SGA was doing today. And I was just like, okay, so I guess we're just going to lose. Coaching is a big thing. I mean, it's hard to say, but you want to double, but then if we double, then of course we're not going to have anybody rotate over in time. They'd get a wide open 3 or something, right? Like, I just feel like that's. But I just feel like that's what's going to happen tonight.
I'd rather have Lindy Waters III, or whatever that guy's name is, or Lou Dort taking that 3 than allowing SGA to just pummel the interior and pummel it again and just keep chipping away at the interior. At some point, you have to take the ball out of the hands of the best player of the opposition, which is what teams do to us all the time. They're like, okay, Devin Booker's your best player. Blitz him. I don't care if you throw 3 fucking guys. He's not going to beat us. If Ish Wainwright's going to beat us, Ish Wainwright's going to beat us. But it's a philosophy that apparently runs one way with the Phoenix Suns. So I do want to talk a little bit more about Monty Williams, but let's talk about DraftKings first, man. Ready for the underdogs, the upsets, and the unbelievable action from DraftKings Sportsbook? The biggest tournament in college basketball is here. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 on college hoops and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, for a limited time, all customers can score a no-sweat bet during round 1 and 2 of the tournament. Go to the app, opt in, and place a no-sweat bet this weekend. If it doesn't hit, you'll get a bonus back up to $10. I got Houston winning it all. I know. I'm dumb. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and sign up with code TBPN. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly, win or lose. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code TBPN. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. So, Matthew, how's your bracket looking?
Oh, I think I was like yesterday I was at 160 points or something, which is not good. I
That's
did do
not-
the one for my work because they sent
Yeah.
out the email, so I did it, and then I was like 66 out of like 200 people. How's
Who do
yours?
who do you have winning?
Oh, I picked I think I picked West Virginia. They're out. Whoever it is, they're already out.
Wow. In the Suns Jam bracket thingy, I want to give a shout out to DXF234. It's currently in first place with 38 points, and then Burr Fami is tied for second with Fire Sarver at 37 points. Both of them are the top three in our bracket pool. Their team to win is already out. Two U of A's and a Kansas is out. Coach
Okay.
Evan B's out. He picked Purdue. I'm still in it. I'm sixth place, and I have Houston. So they're still alive.
Wow.
They won yesterday. Going to
Maybe you weren't
Sweet
dumb.
16. We'll see. Give it some time.
Where in the world is
TJ Warren.
Where in the world's TJ Warren today, man? He's the
I think
only
he
member
was-
of the Phoenix Suns who didn't get to play.
Yeah, he was hanging out with us today, dude. We took a walk at halftime over at my friend's house. So he was over there. He was at the river. I mean, not the river, the lake. We're just hanging out, trying to fish for some of that nice carp. I think he was just hanging out
Nice.
there all day. Yeah.
So TJ Warren, instead of showing up and playing for the Phoenix Suns, he's down by Desert Breeze Park, just throwing a fishing line in, trying to
Yes.
catch some carp.
Yeah. Tempe, where we, yeah.
Yeah. Tempe Town Lake. Well, there you go, folks. In case you were wondering where TJ Warren was, that's where he was at. Nowhere to be seen. Nowhere at all.
Ever since I've been here, we talked about everything you want is on the other side of hard. This is hard.
Monty Williams, coach of the Phoenix Suns.
We've already talked a little bit about some of the coaching challenges in this game. The one thing that drove me absolutely nuts was, again, that 6-0 run that started the fourth quarter for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Monty Williams calls a timeout. The Suns are getting pummeled on the interior. Darius Baisley, ladies and gentlemen, is not the answer. Yet Monty Williams just put all the same guys back out there, and they continue to just get their asses handed to them. I don't know if it was a good coaching session there by Monty. I think he's probably had some better. What were your thoughts on Monty overall? And I know you typically don't side on the side of saying that was some shitty coaching because we don't know. So tell me just your thoughts quickly on Monty, and tell me your thoughts on Darius Baisley today.
I mean, he had the one dunk. I'm like, what?
The one
and it was
dunk.
against Sarge, right? Everyone was going after
Of
Sarge. I
course.
think it was smart for them to trade him to the Thunder because we play him 10 more times this year. So we just search for him. That's how we get those leads.
When
Like,
Devin
as soon
Booker
as-
went for that block, like he would have never tried that against anybody. But when it was on Dario, he's like, "Fuck this! He's like, I know this
Yeah,
motherfucker can't."
he was the
jump."
worst plus minus. He was -9 today. So just go right at him. Yeah, today, dude. So Monty, I mean, going to the game for me, I thought it would be a loss. So the fact that it was actually kind of close and they kind of dominated most of the game, I think the defense played very well. But towards the end, everyone's saying, with Jock, Bismack, why is Jock not playing as much? I think that was one of the questions there. Baisley, you give him a chance, you let the fans see it, then you just know he's not really that, because he's not. We kind of knew him coming into the season, or when we got him back in the trade, we're like, he's not going to see the light of day. And we kind of know why now. But also, it's like, why are you not playing Jock more? Why was Bismack and Jock not actually just splitting the time? You know what I mean? Because usually it's like Aiden will play, and then you have Bismack and Jock splitting the other minutes, right? One of them will not play the game. So I thought that's the way it was going to be. I don't think Jock or Bismack had a horrible game. I know Bismack is an absolute zero on offense. Whenever he has a chance to try, I mean, he set up towards the beginning of the game. He actually had that one layup from Chris Paul, but anything further from 2 inches from the rim, he has the hardest time, especially from the free throw line, just airballing it. I don't know, man. I mean, I can't, just because things go wrong in a game and a team goes on a run, I'm not going to say like, hey, Monty, why don't you do this? No, it's because we have no one else to rely on right now other than Booker, man. If Chris Paul doesn't get it going in the fourth quarter, it's just a waste of possession because he wastes so much time on the clock trying to get into things. So it's not on Monty. It's just the one game this year so far for me.
I put it on Monty. I do put it on Monty.
Oh, okay, cool.
When you're getting pummeled, you need to make an adjustment. when the team comes out and they're hot and they're dominating the interior, which is what they were doing at the beginning of the fourth quarter, you need to make an adjustment. And he didn't make an adjustment. He's like, I'll stay small ball 5 with Darius Baisley out there, who's barely seen the light of day, as you mentioned, with the Phoenix Suns, rather than putting a Jock Landale out there or a Bismack Biyombo. And he just refused to do that. He's like, no, I'm going to stick to, Monty's one of those guys. He sticks to his guns to the point where it's detrimental to the success of the team at times. Now, in no way, shape, or form am I saying fire Monty Williams or he's a bad coach. Did he have a bad moment? Yes. Every coach has a bad moment. Every coach is overanalyzed. On podcasts, on talk shows, and articles, wherever you can. So I'm frustrated with some of the lack of adjustments that he had in this game. But overall, again, I still support Monty. He said in his post-game presser, we're one of the worst teams in the league when it comes to fouling. We have to correct that. No shit. He's saying the loss is on him, and I'll agree with that. I think that you have to have some ability to make simple adjustments, and putting the same guys back out there. Like, I don't know what they said in the huddle. He's like, dude, no, we got this, man. We got this. And Libertarian Sasquatch in the super chat, again, thank you for that $1.99. We appreciate it. He asked the question, does Monty hate Jock? He needs more minutes. Jock Landale in this game ended with a total of 15 minutes. He was 2 of 5 from the field. He had 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal. Bismack had 20 minutes. Darius Baisley had 7. And that was kind of the center rotation for the Phoenix Suns. I just don't know why in that critical time Baisley was out there and he didn't make that adjustment. Baisley ended with 7 minutes. He was a -5. He had 3 points in this game. And I just hope that Suns fans can see that and recognize that, because a lot of them are clamoring for Baisley all the time. Like, there's always this the next
when you're
guy
losing,
when you're losing, it's always the 16th guy on the bench. They're like, all right, what's the assistant coach? Jarrett Jack. We need a Jarrett Jack. Have him put on a jersey now because he's the answer. It's like, no, you just need to find some semblance of stability in your rotations. And when you're playing every guy but TJ Warren, you're not going to find that.
Yeah, dude, Jock was in a groove too, I felt like. I thought Biz was in a groove. I know I said offensively it's not there, but these guys were holding down the
rebound.
They were doing what they do the best, especially against a team like the Thunder, man. These guys were dominating in their own ways, I felt like. Just keep going back and forth with those two. But the only thing is Jock, around the rim, it can be rough to watch, right? But he needs more reps. Like, the more he is involved in the game, he gets better. And I think Cameron Payne too, man. I know it's only 15 minutes. 15 minutes. He didn't, I think, only 2 points. He had 2 points, 6 assists. There's going to be a time where Cameron Payne, he had the 2 good games in a row, right? Tonight wasn't terrible, 1 for 5, but he had 1 turnover. 6 assists.
Why did he only play? How many minutes did he play, Matthew?
15 minutes, not even 15 minutes.
Yeah, but did he get injured?
I don't. Oh, you know what? I think
there was one play where it looked like he got
twice,
hurt
and then the second time he went underneath the basket. I was like, oh, he's hurt, and he didn't come back. So that's probably what happened.
And that's why, as you were talking, I'm on Twitter trying to see if there's anything about.
There has to be that ankle. Every game he gets hurt with that, and that sucks because I want to see him finish a game for Chris Paul sometimes.
Yes,
just see what it's like, because I think he can hold his own defensively, and I think that he can be the extra spark offensively that Booker needs to help him out until KD gets back. But
also,
if he hurts again, dude, that sucks.
But also, like we saw it last game, we saw some Cameron Payne and Chris Paul lineups, and I thought even those were very productive because, again, it put him in kind of the 2 guard. So it's like, I don't know. I haven't seen anything. I'm kind of perusing through Twitter while we're doing the podcast live. So if anybody in the chat sees anything that we didn't,
even EJ said, and he's like, oh, it looked like he twisted his ankle on that one or whatever.
Yeah.
On that drive. So I'm like, oh, damn it, dude. Because if that's a thing, like, he's going to be nothing for us in the playoffs. Like, he has no control over that, obviously, but that's detrimental, man.
Yeah, big time. Because, again, he has to be that spark plug. He has to be that guy.
We have no bench without him.
This is true. And you don't have a facilitator to the bench. Shit. Again, no official report here on the Suns Jam session, but we'll see moving forward. Josh Giddey, I want to talk about him.
Yeah.
So he got another technical foul in this game, which brings me to trivia time.
You know what time it is.
Trivia time.
It's a great drop. All right, so Josh Giddey got his second technical foul against the Suns this year, right? Last time we played them, he got a technical foul. How many technical fouls does Josh Giddey have on the season, Matthew?
Is it one?
No, he's got 2 against the Suns.
Oh.
Take a guess.
6.
6. So I will say this: looking up technical fouls is tough. Like, there's no on Basketball Reference, on NBA stats, they don't have like just a technical foul thing. You really have to do some research. But he has 2 this season. Both have happened against the Phoenix Suns.
Wow.
Isn't that stupid?
That is crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
I feel like Book should have had one tonight, but I guess he took one from Book. Who knows?
All right, so question number 2. How many technical fouls does Devin Booker have?
6.
He has 8.
Okay. What's the max? 16?
No, you can go above 16. So there's currently 3 players in the NBA who have 16 or more technical fouls. Can you tell me who all 3 of those players are?
Yeah, so it'd be Dylan Brooks.
Correct.
Draymond Green.
Correct.
And hold on. Is it I can't get it. I don't know.
Who's as big of a bitch as those 2? It's Dylan Brooks, Draymond Green.
Is it Luka?
Luka. There you go. Nailed it.
Wow.
Well done, sir. Dylan Brooks has 17. Draymond Green and Luka Doncic both have 16.
Okay.
Trae Young has 15. And I don't know if you could guess who number 5 on the list is.
Number 5?
Yeah, who's number 5 in the NBA when it comes to technical fouls? He has 14. Kind of surprised me. I guess
Bobby Portis?
No, good guess.
Oh.
I like that guess. This is it's Anthony Edwards.
Oh, I would never guess
I would
that.
never have guessed Anthony Edwards being number 5.
I would never guess Trae Young either because I forgot he even plays in the league, dude. He just has like no coverage this year at all. So I have no
Good.
idea.
It's nice. But he cries all the time too. And you have to remember, when you hit that 16th technical foul, that's when you get suspended a game. So both Draymond and Luka have been suspended a game. I guess Dylan Brooks has been suspended 2 games now. But it goes to show you again, for all of those, and we'll talk about it a little bit here on the Subreddit Stakeout momentarily. Those of you who say Devin Booker bitches and whines, no, he's got 8. He's got 8 total technical fouls. Now, that being said, in the past, is something I used to track. He used to be like a top 5 guy every year. But
he was, yeah. I got trivia really quick for you.
Ooh, fire away.
Who was the first full-blood Native American basketball player to play in the NBA? Plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder right now.
Oh, I don't know any of their names. That Waters guy.
Yeah, Lindy Waters. I
Lindy
didn't know that
Waters.
till today. Yeah, my friend told me.
There you go. Yeah, Matthew's friends with the one Oklahoma City Thunder fan who just stayed in Arizona. It's actually quite impressive. Speaking of the Thunder, is it weird how the Thunder were wearing orange today and the Suns were wearing like thunder blue? Like, why did they do that?
I don't know. Their orange is it's ugly too, right? Orange is hard to pull off, but those are pretty nasty.
It's like burnt orange. It's kind of like the Texas Longhorns, where the Texas Longhorns, their burnt orange looks nice against the white. But if you look at like Tennessee, the Tennessee Volunteers, it's like a bright orange. It's gross. So yeah, orange is a tough one to pull off.
It is.
I like the Suns shade of orange, and I think when they have orange jerseys, it does look okay if it's done right. If you go back a few years ago, before the Suns changed to their current jersey sets, when they had the Suns streaking, when Devin Booker's, like sophomore year, they had orange jerseys that had black font on them. I actually thought those looked okay. I like to play with those on 2K. Those look pretty nice.
Those are actually probably the best ones. It is all about like the logos, the arrangement, and then actually just, the names on the back, the letters, but they always mess it up. Those ones weren't bad.
I'm with Landon Alverson. The Suns blue needs to be retired, because we've worn it now. The turquoise that we're currently wearing, because the Suns have worn it the last three games in a row. And if you look at the remainder of the regular season, and one place you can go, Suns fans, if you didn't know this, if you go to lockervision.nba.com, it'll show you the uniform matchups for the remainder of the season. That's how we do our logos and such for our podcast. We know what's upcoming, if you will. They play the Jazz in the City Edition jerseys on the 27th, and then one more time against the San Antonio Spurs. So we only have to see those turquoise uniforms only 2 more times for the remainder of the season. Hopefully none in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope not. God, that would be absolutely horrible to see those things. I after 3 games in a row, you just kind of get sick. We're the Phoenix Suns, man. We shouldn't be wearing the Oklahoma City Thunder colors.
The Suns Jam Session Subreddit Stakeout.
So I was hanging out in the Oklahoma City Thunder subreddit, just with my hat backwards, just like this. You ever been a backwards hat wearer guy?
Yeah, I wish I was. Sometimes I look good. I wore one last night. Looked pretty good.
Did you? I used to wear my hat backwards all the time. All the time. So I just got your message.
Yeah, no, you're good. We got like 10 minutes or so.
All right, cool. So here we go. First thing on the subreddit stakeout. I'm a Mavs fan. Y'all better kick the shit out of Booker, please. That guy needs a new daddy. Fucking Mavericks fans.
Cute.
This Phoenix lineup looks.
He's a new daddy.
Yeah, because they think Luka's his daddy.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's their running thing. Like, well, Luka's daddy's.
Everyone's everybody's daddy.
Yeah. This Phoenix lineup really looks like a great defending one. Craig and Okogie are a good combo. What do you think about that? Craig and Okogie as a defensive combo for the Phoenix Suns.
They are. I think they're great.
Well, if
They're
you look
limited.
at
Craig's a little bit limited in some ways, but Kogie's perfect.
Yeah, I think Okogie actually does a lot of that heavy lifting for them, if you will.
It really does.
If you go to NBA.com, you can actually look up like 2-man lineups.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was doing it, and then I could just completely click the wrong thing. But I'll do it. Here we go. 2-player lineups. Advanced filters. Phoenix Suns is the team. Let's just see if they have any, if we have any statistics with those two on the court together. So do this. Bismack Biyombo, Torrey. So who did I say? Torrey Craig and who? Josh Okogie. This is the worst part of the podcast, is when I research things live on the air. Everybody's just sitting there like, it's not even going to be worth it when it's over. Josh Okogie, blah, 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 blah. Josh Okogie and Cameron Johnson. Too soon. I miss you, Cam. I'm not finding anything. Last page. T. Craig, and Okogie.
Salty's gaming. I wear my hat backwards. Shout out.
There we go. Yeah, they're a plus 1.7 on average in a game, so they're good.
It's not consistent though. There's not whole lot of time. You know, if there was like McHale and Okogie, that would be fucking ridiculous.
Oh, I know. If we experiment with that a little bit more. Biyombo really turning into prime Shaq against OKC. Laugh my ass off.
Yeah, they feeling good.
Yeah,
he really did in the beginning.
Till Monty's like, yeah, I don't want to play him. And then somebody said, any center does, to be honest. Then somebody said, fuck Booker, this motherfucker, ugly as fuck.
I don't know, man. I was at my friend's house. His wife likes him. So
there you go. This person has no idea what they're talking about. This washed up Ross motherfucker only shows up against us. He's ass otherwise. It's so annoying.
No, he's had some good games now. You know what I mean? Like he had the one good game when he came into Phoenix, and then he had like 3 bad ones, and he had another good one, then a couple bad ones. But
he had that 20
ones, right?
He had that 24-point game that was against OKC, so that's probably why they think that.
Oh yeah.
But he's not ass. He's more like
that was the makeup for KD's absence, though. On that, so.
That's right. That was the night where it's just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Everybody should better show up. Leaving Damian Lee open on the perimeter is a choice, I guess. And then somebody said, Booker is so good. I know the Suns are good, but damn, this is annoying. This is obviously before they came back and beat us. Mm-hmm. Nike just handing our turquoise jerseys to anyone. Somebody says, can't play Baisley. And then somebody says, the Bays experience. It's kind of nice from this side.
Yeah, it's like, it's our Sarich and their Baisley.
Yes,
you know,
100%.
Yeah. Except for Sarich plays a lot more, and you just hunt him out. Do whatever you want.
And here's the last question, and I'll ask you this before we wrap up the subreddit stakeout. Who was more hated, prime Chris Paul or prime Harden?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a good question.
I think players hated Chris Paul more than James Harden, but I always remember I used to always defend Harden, and now he's kind of adjusted to the league now, which he looks a lot better now today. He's more watchable right now, but I think overall it was Harden for some reason. I mean, I know why.
I agree.
It was Harden for sure.
I just think back to watching prime Chris Paul or prime James Harden, and James Harden to me is like Luka Doncic. He makes basketball unconsumable, Whereas Chris Paul, he would just piss you off because he was so good at the game.
Yeah.
Like, and to your point, James Harden, yeah, he was good at the game. He's good at drawing fouls, just like SGA. And it was annoying the manner he would do it, though. It was like you're bending the rules in your favor, and it's not fun to watch. Whereas Chris Paul, yeah, he does the rip-through stuff, but he's also really, really good. And I'll never forget that right after the All-Star break, it was before the All-Star break, it was after they announced who the final All-Star selection guys were, right? And Chris Paul beat out Devin Booker when Chris Paul played for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Remember, like the next game, it was Devin Booker versus Chris Paul, and Chris Paul just cooked us in the fourth quarter. And he just went out there. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that Chris Paul would do. That we would just, it was like Kobe. I couldn't stand Kobe, but fuck, I respected him. I've never respected James Harden.
Yeah, no, same here. But I respected James Harden, but Chris Paul just kind of flew under the radar for me, honestly, in that way of hate.
Yeah, it's a different kind of, it's more frustration. So there you go, the subreddit stake.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Beep, 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 beep.
Jam star of the game.
Forgot to ask you, Matthew, is there anything from your notes that we missed, or did you take notes?
I did take notes,
Okay.
but I can't really see the screen right now, so I can't even see my notes.
That's not good.
No,
well,
but
who was your jam star of the game in this one then?
oh, it would have to be Devin. He's ugly. Booker,
Yeah, Devin, the ugly motherfucker Booker.
the ugly
Yeah,
guy on the court. Yeah,
I completely agree with that one.
fucking great.
Nice and easy. Next game for the Suns. It looks like it's
Same,
the Thunder.
same game. I didn't update that. I was having issues with the Lakers logo. I don't know. It was a pain in the ass. So I just stopped.
Well, what I will do is I will bring up the schedule. This was for the last 20 games, and I will say this. Upcoming for the Phoenix Suns, they go to LA on Wednesday. Then they go to Sacramento on Friday. Then they come home against the Philadelphia 76ers for a quick one-game homestand on a back-to-back on Saturday. And then it's Monday. They're at the Jazz. Then they play the Timberwolves at home. The Nuggets at home. They play OKC again. What I'm getting to, Jamsters, the Suns have the fourth hardest remaining schedule in the NBA. Fourth hardest by winning percentage. The winning percentage of the opposition is 53.1%. That's kind of where we're living at right now. So I ask you, Matthew, are you worried in any way, shape, or form that the Phoenix Suns could potentially lose the 4 seed or any other seed?
Yeah, no, top 6 is what I'm going for. So if they do lose it, I'm fine. But this is the whole season. It's like, we're going to be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Tonight when we lost the game, my friend's like, oh, you'll be fine. We'll be fine. All right. So I'm okay, I guess. But I think top 6 seed is what I'm looking at. It doesn't matter who we play. I know everyone's like, oh, look at the Grizzlies. He's going to come back. You can play that team, whatever. But even the Nuggets who are struggling, it's going to be tough no matter where you're at right now. If you're in the play-in, you have a chance to win that game. But whoever you go up against in a real series in the West, it's going to be tough.
So I'm showing the standings on the screen right now, and you can see the Phoenix Suns are currently 1 game ahead of the Los Angeles Clippers, who are vying for the 5 seed. The Mavericks are 2 games behind the Phoenix Suns. The Warriors are 2.5 games behind the Suns, and that's that 7 seed. That's the 7 seed that Matthew's talking about, the 7 seed you don't want to be in. You don't want to be in the play-in game. The Thunder, with their win today, move up to the 8 seed, which is 3 games behind the Phoenix Suns. 3.5 games behind the Phoenix Suns are the Timberwolves and the Jazz. And then you have the Lakers, who are 4 games behind Phoenix. So essentially in the last 11 games, the Phoenix Suns have to drop 4 games in the standings if they end up not being in the playoffs. Now, that being said, you give up a game and a half, 2.5 games, you're hanging out in the play-in game. So that upcoming schedule will be a challenge for these reasons, because the Phoenix Suns are going to have teams that are nipping at their heels, and they're playing some of these teams. You know, you got the Thunder again, you got the Timberwolves, you got the Jazz, you're playing the Kings, who are above the Suns in the standings, who are fighting for the 2 seed, so they have no reason to roll over. We play the Nuggets twice, which is the best team in the Western Conference, and although they've been struggling as of late, they're still the best team in the Western Conference. It's going to be an interesting end to the season, and I think that when we talk about what our expectation, when we talk about these games and what's going on with the Phoenix Suns and losing these games in the manner they do, it's frustrating as fuck because of everything that's going on around the Suns. But that being said, we have to be focused on what the end goal is. And what the end goal is to be, as Matthew said, a top 6 team. I say a top 4 team. I like where we're sitting at the 4 seed. I'd prefer the 4 seed versus having to be a team that's in the 5 or 6 that's going to have to go on the road in the first round playoff series as they retry to integrate a hopefully healthy Kevin Durant. So is it frustrating to lose these games? Yeah, 100%. But the other side of this equation is a lot of these teams are losing games too, right? The Lakers have lost 2 in a row. The Timberwolves have lost 3 in a row. The Warriors have lost 3 in a row. Oklahoma City has won 1. The Utah Jazz have won 1. The Clippers, they've lost a few. They've lost 1 in a row, but they lost some prior to that. It's okay to lose these games if the opposition and the other teams vying for these playoff spots are losing as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you go into the playoffs, all these teams are just kind of waiting for that. And I think it's so different this year because the way we look at it, especially the Warriors, from my side of things, I'm like, this Warriors team is still, they're going to be tough to beat. But right now, even if they lose 3 games in a row, I'm like, I'd still pick them over the Nuggets. I feel like I would pick them to beat the Nuggets in a series. Same thing with the Suns, man. We can lose these games, and everyone's still like, hey, KD's coming back. We'll be okay. Even if we're in the play-in, those play-in teams are easier to beat, right?
Yeah.
But if it's in the play-on, if it gets that bad, it's still going to be this thing where it's like, well, get KD back, we'll be fine. But I think by the time KD comes back, he'll win us some games, and we can probably squeeze some of these out, maybe. But right now, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up in the play-in. But I think just like the whole season, I think we'll be fine. We can probably still win that and just head into the first series and just hope that we're healthy.
Hope. That's all we have.
I'll hope this crazy season, guys.
Yeah, crazy.
Here is just, unless we were in the I don't know, hunting for that number 1 pick in the lottery. This is like a complete reverse of what the hell happened last year.
Tell me about it. Well, and you look at those other teams that the Phoenix Suns are having chased them down, right? Like the Clippers, they have the 14th toughest schedule remaining. Again, Phoenix has 4. The Golden State Warriors, they have the 20th toughest schedule remaining. Oklahoma City has the 29th toughest schedule remaining. The Lakers 26, Dallas 23. I mean, the Suns are just, they're going to have to fight, man.
Yeah.
They're going to have to fight. They're going to have to reach down. They're going to have to fight. And there's that quote that came out last week that James Jones has said, hey, if the playoffs began today, Kevin Durant would be playing. Well, the playoffs might start earlier than April 11th. They might have to bring him back and say, hey, man, we need you. We need you to hold down the fort. Because if we're on the precipice of going on a slide. Shit, we're already there.
Yeah.
We've won 1 out of our last 5 games. We're on the precipice of going on a pretty substantial slide. Again, the Lakers on Wednesday, Sacramento on Friday, Philly on Saturday, and then back home, Utah on Monday, and just boom. It's hit after hit. That's why the frustration for us Suns fans exists with this game, because Oklahoma City, when you're up 10, 15 points in this game, you got to win that fucking game. And you didn't, Monty. You didn't. Yeah, that one's on you. Figure it out, man. Figure it out.
Yeah, it's tough, dude.
So on that note, Jamsters, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take off. We appreciate you hanging out on this fine Sunday afternoon, this little chilly Sunday afternoon out there. As
beautiful weather.
Beautiful weather, man. We
fishing.
Took the dogs out to Desert Breeze yesterday. It was gorgeous. But again, thanks for hanging out with us. Make sure you give us a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're listening, if you want to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, we appreciate it. If not, whatever. We're not pandering to the masses. We're pandering
whatever you want to do.
Suns fans. You do you, boo. You do you. So again, make sure you follow the show. Make sure you follow me at Darth Void and read my writing on brightsideofthesun.com. You can follow Matthew
at Matthew Lissy.
And you can follow the show at Suns Jam on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Head over to our Twitch channel as well. We got some a little twitchy. Matthew's got a twitch in his eye right now. He's got a migraine coming in. I can see it. It's like a storm. So on that note, chances we're going to take off. We'll see you on Wednesday. Yeah, go home and love your family.